guys, welcome back to my channel. My name's Emma and I help people to heal from chronic dizziness such as PPPD. If you're new here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos that can help you to heal from dizziness. And if you like the video, please like it because it will help it to reach more people. So in this video today, I want to share with you 5 tips to help with symptom management of people that experience dizziness when using screens. And I also want to share the reason why you may be reacting to screens in the first place. So really seeing if you can get to the root cause of where the dizziness sensations are coming from when using screens. Because I know that there are a lot of people that have kind of dizziness when they're using screens generally, but also people that experience dizziness when using one screen but not on another screen. For example, feeling dizzy when they're on the work computer but they're not feeling as dizzy when they're working at home. So I want to really get to the root cause of that and what you can do about that to help with your dizziness sensations in the long run. So my first tip is adjusting the brightness on the screen that you're using. So typically if you can turn the brightness down, so you have it on the lowest setting, that should help people, especially if you have light sensitivity. If you're using a computer screen, you can also get something called a privacy screen, which is like a film that goes on top of the screen itself. And typically it's used for people that are working with sensitive information on their computer, so they don't want people walking past them to be able to see what's on the screen. But this can actually also help people that have got dizziness because the screen itself actually makes the screen darker. So that was something that I used on my computer screen, and I find that that really helped me. So they're fairly cheap to pick up. If it's to do with work, you can always ask your workplace to provide you with one. And yeah, just adjusting the brightness of the screen generally should help people that are experiencing dizziness on that particular screen. My second tip would be reviewing the lighting in the room that you're using the screen in. So experiment with different types of light, and you may find that certain lights actually make it more difficult for you to use the screen and make you feel more symptomatic, whereas other lights may actually feel more comfortable to you. So I would recommend natural light is probably the best light to be using a screen in. And I find that I had a reduction in symptoms when I was using a screen where there was more natural light. So if, for example, you're working in an office, see if you could maybe move to a nearby window, or if you're in an office where there's fluorescent lighting, see if you can move to a different part of the office or a different room where maybe there's a different type of light coming in. But in my personal experience, I find that natural light was much more comfortable and helped to reduce some of my symptoms. Tip number 3 is getting your eyes tested. I would really encourage anybody that's suffering from chronic dizziness to go and get an eye exam if you haven't done already. It may well be that your eyes are completely healthy and absolutely fine, or it could be that you need glasses, or it could be that your current prescription of glasses just isn't strong enough. So when you're focusing on and using a screen, it could be that your eyes are straining, and that extra strain that's coming from your eyes is just making it more difficult for your brain to process the information on that screen, which could be making your dizziness symptoms worse. So when I had the PPPD, I wasn't wearing any glasses, and I worked out that I did actually have, from the eye exam, they noticed that I had an astigmatism, which is essentially where my pupils are not a circular shape, they are more like a rugby ball shape, which just means that when I'm focusing on something, like when using a screen or when I'm driving, it's more difficult for my brain to interpret the information that's coming through my eyes. And I also did have an astigmatism that was worse in one eye than the other. So there was a difference in the information that was coming through the eyes into my brain. And actually when my brain was trying to interpret that information, it was just getting mixed signals, which was being exaggerated from the astigmatism that I had. So as soon as I got some glasses, I find that this made an instant difference. It didn't make the dizziness go away, but it did help my focus and concentration on the screen, and it reduced headaches as well, which of course, when we've got headaches and we're already feeling a lot of head pressure up in our heads, that can make dizziness worse as well. So if you haven't already had your eyes tested, it's something that I would encourage you to do. And on a side note to that, you can also get special lenses put in that have a tint in. in. And that was one thing that I did. I had a very, very mild tint put in the lens itself, which filtered out some of the green light that was coming from the office lights where I was working at the time. And again, that did help me to be able to manage the symptoms at the time. Tip number 4 is to make sure that you're taking regular breaks away from the screen. So lots of people that have triple PD can have visual dominance, which is when you're using more information from your eyes than what you should be. And that can cause a lot of eye strain and difficulty when you're trying to use the screen. So I would encourage you to maybe every hour take a 5-minute break away from your screen, go outside, get some fresh air, just put your phone down if it's your phone that you're using, and sometimes just if it helps, you can just close your eyes for a few minutes and really just allow the eyes to get a bit of rest. And sometimes that's all you need, just to have a little reset, and then you can return to using your screen again. But I do encourage people that are using screens for prolonged periods of time to be taking real regular short breaks away from the screen, just to be able to rest your eyes. So tip number 5 is for people that have something called visual vertigo. Visual vertigo is when people experience a lot of dizziness sensations when they are looking at specific patterns, or so for example, this could be checkered floors, it could be patterned walls, it could be rooms that have really high ceilings, for example, it could be supermarkets where there's a lot of information to process from the shelves and the people, and there's a lot of movement and a lot of things going on within your visual field. I think that most people with triple PD have symptoms of visual vertigo, but they don't have visual vertigo itself. But one thing that you can try, and one thing that will help with visual vertigo, is some VRT exercises, in particular gaze stabilization exercises, where you would do specific exercises with your eyes with a patterned background in the background. And the reason why you would do that is to help desensitize the brain to the pattern and to encourage it to focus on the objects that you're actually looking at. So you can look on YouTube for exercises that can help with visual vertigo. If you have a therapist that you're seeing to help with your vestibular exercises, ask them to see if they can give you some visual vertigo exercises to work on. But how you'll know whether they're suitable for you or not is by how you feel when you do them. So if you do these exercises and they don't make your symptoms any worse, then it's likely that you don't actually have visual vertigo. Visual vertigo is when you would be doing these actual VRT exercises with the different patterns in the background, and they will be making you feel more symptomatic. So if you have visual vertigo, see if you can do some VRT exercises to help with that. But like I said, I think most people with triple PD, the actual cause for the symptoms, it's more to do with a stress response within the body. So to elaborate on that, in the vast majority of cases of people that have triple PD, it's because of an overactive stress response in the body. So it's actually not that there's an issue with your eyes or an issue with your vestibular system. It's actually more an issue to do with the way that your brain is processing the information that it's receiving from its senses. And stress can actually inhibit the way that the pathways in our brains and the way that the neurons actually send information to each other can be received. So it can cause misfires or miscommunication, where it's just not working as effectively as what it could be. And the result of that is dizziness. And this is really interesting because I think some people, as I said at the start of the video, experience dizziness when they're using some screens, but not other screens. So one thing I would ask you to get curious about is, when you're feeling heightened dizziness, what screen is it that you're using, or what environment is it that you're in? And why could it be that you're experiencing more dizziness? Is it that the environment you're in is a potential threat to your nervous system? Is it that your nervous system is perceiving there to be danger? Maybe there's an automatic knee-jerk reaction that's happening inside your nervous system that's responding to the environment you're in or the screen that you're using, and therefore making the dizziness sensations worse. So from my personal experience, I really struggled when I was using the work computer. And for me, it was a combination of things. So the lighting in the office was really terrible. There was very little natural light in there. And the office was busy. There was a lot of people there. Work is obviously a stressful place. It can be a stressful place. There can be conflicts. There could be people that you don't necessarily get along with. Maybe you don't enjoy your job. And all of these different reasons can actually factor into whether your nervous system is feeling stressed or whether it's not feeling stressed. And therefore, whether it's reacting to what it's perceiving to be danger, or whether you actually do feel truly safe and calm. So in my situation, I felt more stressed out and anxious and worse in work. It was where I was experiencing really heightened dizzy sensations. It was where I felt panicky and anxious, and therefore my brain was reacting to that. And the screen was just making it more of a trigger for me. I find that when I used my laptop at home, when I was feeling more calm, the symptoms were much, much lower, and I was able to manage them better. Now, if you're feeling more dizzy sensations when you use your phone, what is it that you're actually using your phone for? Are you reading about really terrible news that's happening around the world or in your local community? Is that bringing on about a sense of unease or anxiety? Maybe you're just trying to respond to 50 different people and you've got all of these unopened WhatsApp messages and it's really stressing you out because you just don't have time to respond to them all. So you're getting stressed about that. Maybe you're trying to rush and respond to them quickly. And this could be contributing to the sensory overload in your brain and actually making your dizziness symptoms worse. So as I said in the earlier part of the video, take breaks from the screen and also slow down a little bit. Try and take your time. If you are rushing, that can send a message of danger back to the brain, which is of course going to be making the dizziness symptoms worse. So how do you know whether you're having a stress response when you're using a screen? Well, check in with how you're feeling. Whenever you're using a screen and you're feeling heightened dizziness sensations, just check in with your body. Are you feeling tight, tense, or stressed? How's your breathing? Are you shallow breathing? Are you holding your breath? Is your heartbeat beating faster than normal? Do you have clammy hands? Do you feel a general sense of unease or discomfort? Or do you really, truly, genuinely feel calm and relaxed when you're using the screen? And just having this dialogue and this feedback with your own body will help you to see where your nervous system is at. So if you find that maybe you are holding some tension in your body, or maybe you're not breathing normally and naturally, and holding your breath maybe, then these are things that you can actually adjust. So spend a couple of minutes just doing some normal breathing. It doesn't necessarily have to be deep breathing, but just make sure you're taking normal, healthy, nice and slow breaths in and out, and that you're not holding your breath at all. There can be a disproportionate level of carbon dioxide and oxygen when you're not breathing effectively, and this can actually cause the stress response in itself. So make sure you're breathing normally. Check in with your body sensations and just see if there's any noticeable areas of tension in your body. You can relax your shoulders down. See if there's any tension in your jaw, and if there is, relax your jaw. Check in with your posture. Are you hunched over? Are you tense? Sit up nice and tall through the spine, and just take a nice deep breath in and out, and just make adjustments to your body, and keep checking in regularly, because it could be that you make these changes and then your body automatically goes back into that tense state. So if it's feeling stressed and if it's reacting to the environment you're in, it could keep going back into that tense, stressed state. So by checking in regularly with your body sensations and by constantly sending a message of safety back to the brain using something like your breath as a tool, will help your body to eventually get the message that the screen that you're using in that particular environment is actually safe. And that can then turn down the stress response, which as a result can reduce your sensitivity to screens in the long run. So that's the end of my video today. I hope that the tips I've shared with you are helpful and help you to work on managing your dizziness symptoms when using screens. But I also hope that it's encouraged you to think about getting to the root cause of why you may be experiencing symptoms when using screens in the first place. If you've got any extra tips that help you when using screens, please do let me know in the comments. I would love to hear them. But for now, I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.